Good morning, it's July 11th, and I'm going to do today what I normally do on Mondays, which is do my normal walk along the creek. I walked along the creek a little bit yesterday, but not my usual path, so I'll take one of my versions of my usual path here, which always starts with going to the dike or to the bridge. Or not necessarily. Maybe I'll take a different path than that today. I'll change something there. I'm still struggling with this gimbal. Yesterday's video was just disappointingly jerky. Now maybe I just had the camera not quite balanced properly, so we'll see what today's looks like. But increasingly I'm unhappy with my new gimbal. Wondering if I should have just stuck with the old one, even though I thought it was exhibiting some problems as well. So we'll see what today's look like, and then maybe I'll try the old one tomorrow so I have something to compare, assuming I walk tomorrow. I won't be walking on Thursday, I know, because our furnace is being installed that day. I'll have to be around the house. Next, we're going to go this way today. I may have to stop. I feel like I have something in my shoe. We'll go this way and go up onto this side of the dike to be a little different. What I do when I get back today, I'm working on my new nonfiction book I'm writing. Very important to get that done, or at least a large proportion of it done, since I have to give an accounting of it to the granting agency soon. Also got publishing stuff to do. There's always publishing stuff to do. There are other settings on here, but I think this is the best one for keeping it smooth, I would think. Although, let's see, we do that one, what happens? Or there's this one. Yeah, that one always makes it tilt over. I don't know why. This one, nope, clearly this is the one we want. There's Henderson Terrace there, built in 1913. I still remember coming by here last year, was it? There was a tree had fallen over and landed on that garage partially there. Long cleaned up, though. There's the sign up there. Gives the date. More dogs. There's always a dog. I've already seen 3 of them, maybe 4. The footbridge would be down there if I went that way, or I go up here and get on the dike, which is my plan today. I'll walk down this side of the dike. Over here so I don't run into those people on the sidewalk. Seeing many more flowers now. So the nonfiction book I'm working on is the one focused on the creative process, science fiction and fantasy authors, specifically Canadian ones, who I have interviewed through my podcast. I decided I would focus on Canadian ones, just to give it some sort of focus, because with 100 and... Oh, what was the last one? 139 interviews so far. There's too many to include everybody. So I had to decide somehow how to narrow it down, and that was my choice. Also, it looks good for the granting people. And the publisher might approach with it is Canadian, and if they don't want it, I'll publish it myself. And I'm also now increasingly not exactly prominent, but a real Canadian publisher. Shadowpawpress.com. Check out our books. There's a lot of them, I should know, because I just spent the weekend putting the metadata, that's the information about how big it is, and reviews, and cover copy, and all that stuff, into Lit Distco, which is my new distribution company, which I have access to now as a member of Literary Press Group of Canada. All of this makes me think I'm a real publisher, but I'm still not quite sure how that happened. It all started because I wanted to publish a collection of my short fiction. All right, here's the creek. People behind me coming this way, but the dogs, of course. It's fairly cool today. It's only going to 18. If I were going to be sitting outside, I'd actually probably want a sweater. But for walking, it's quickly warming up. The nice thing about walking on this side is you see more of the creek because the trees aren't on this side. Just some bushes. I can feel a little warmth in the sun. Supposed to be showers today too, so another reason I wanted to get out fairly early in case those materialize. Oh, I thought that was a rabbit, but it's some sort of pipe sticking up out of the ground. Elphinstone Bridge over there, which is where we'll be in a moment. I saw this little white thing there. Thought it was a rabbit. Not even close. There's an airplane taking off. The airport is that way, not too far. I could walk to the terminal from where I am now. It would take me about 20 minutes to walk to the terminal, I think. Maybe half an hour. Probably half an hour. But I got nowhere to go, so I won't be doing that. I hate it when there are vehicles on the path. I think they're going down that way. Yes, they are. I can tell just from looking at this that it's actually jerkier than my old gimbal, which is made by the same company. It seems to register my footsteps more now. So if I try this other one here, does that seem to make it smoother? The difference is that one won't let me tilt up to look at things. And that one, as noted earlier, tends to have problems keeping the horizon level. I don't know what that's all about. More dogs. Honestly, people. Why do you want to have a dog? All that walking all the time. There's another one over here. And again, you see it doesn't keep it level. So we'll go back to where we were. I wish there was a crosswalk here, because this is where I want to cross. But I'll have to wait for a break in the traffic. Which I won't get for a minute or two. But we'll wait. There's a red light up there, so that should take care of that. And once these cars go by here, I should be able to sneak across. Over here to the Neo-Balkwell Civic Arts Center. A little bit of public art here on the grounds of the rusty metal sculpture variety, very popular. This one here, you see, if you look through this, then you see the cutout further down. And this is the Neo-Balkwell Civic Arts Center up here. You can take art classes here. And I've even performed here years ago. We used to have our Regina Lyric Light Opera then, now Regina Lyric Musical Theater, annual meetings in here. And so once, as part of that, we did a little production of Trial by Jury by Gilbert and Sullivan. That was a long time ago. One of those meetings, my a cappella group I sang in at the time, called Midnight Sun, performed. And one of our songs was Barbara Ann, and we changed the words to Margaret Ann. We were both on the board, and I'm married to Margaret Ann, so you see, it worked. It works perfectly. Margaret Ann. Well, if you kind of make Margaret a two-syllable word, I suppose technically it's Margaret, 3 syllables, but nobody pronounces it that way. Margaret. It's dry, so maybe I'll walk over here by the beaver. There's another airplane. Good morning, whoever that is. Beloved John. Oh, good morning. I'm doing fine. I'm out here walking, so I can't be doing too badly. Here's the beaver. This was a centennial project back in 1967. Needs some fixing up. His face is kind of falling apart. This side he still has an eye, but not the other side. They recently refurbished the Frog over on the College Avenue campus. I need to walk by that. Take a look. Good morning, Beatrice. I can read comments better today because the sun's not out at the moment. Oh, I thought that was an alley. All right, we'll go up the alley. Not exactly scenic, but the brown is for garbage and the blue's for recycling. And they also have some green ones in some places for lawn, yard waste. But that's been a kind of a pilot project. It hasn't made it to our neighborhood yet. Garages. Ooh, empty lot. Or is that just an extra big yard? Oh, it must be their yard. It's just extra big. All right, that's all the alley. Now we will turn left, go down by the park. Park. No, park. Oh, I got a bad connection message there. Must have been the alley. Leaves can actually block the signal, so if you're surrounded by trees on both sides, sometimes the signal gets bad. There is something in my shoe, but I think I can just put up with it. It is annoying. It doesn't quite hurt, but it's annoying. It's very hard to take off my shoe, and they're sprinkling here, so maybe I'll go down the other side. So I don't have to dodge sprinklers. Nice flowering bush. So the creek's the other side of that park there. We'll get back to it eventually. Just depends on what. Yeah, see, they're not exactly not sprinkling the sidewalk there. In fact, the wind is blowing enough of it, I'm going to get a little of it clear over here on the other side of the street. I can feel it right now. Just a mist. Be more refreshing if it wasn't already a little chilly. Thank you for the mist. If it was a hot day, it would feel good. But it's not hot today. Which is good, since our air conditioner is not working, but that'll be fixed hopefully on Thursday when the new furnace goes in. It's not a problem with the air conditioner. It's the furnace and the blower specifically. Without the blower, air conditioner can run all at once, but the air doesn't go anywhere. The cool air, I mean, it goes somewhere, but it doesn't go into the house. Not efficiently, anyway. And of course, you want to get the furnace fixed well before any cold weather hits. We do have a fireplace, but it would struggle to heat the whole house. It struggles to heat the living room with our old windows that aren't very energy efficient in the front. Sunflowers on both sides of the road, which means the ones on the left are growing as weeds. They somehow established themselves in the little crack in the curb there. Yeah, that's exactly what that is. They're just growing in the little crack. Must have spread from the garden. Another airplane. That's the third airplane, about 8 dogs, if you count that one over there. Looks like he's trying to train him. Or she. I think what I'll do is, I'll go up here and cross over and then walk back along the creek from a little further along than sometimes. These walks are a bit faster this time of year. Oh, there's a new house being built there. I remember they tore, that's right, I remember them tearing down what was there. Now they're building the new one, which, as is usually the case, is much bigger than the little one it replaced. But they blocked the sidewalk, so good sized one for sure. Actually looks like they're making the main entrance on 15th here instead of in the front, which I'm sure the old one, which would have been more like those little ones there, would have been on the front, whatever street this is. What is that street? I'll see when I can look back at the Wascana Street. There's a lot of Wascana this and that. Wascana Park, Wascana Center, Wascana Drive. Wascana is a play on the Cree word Wascana. And the complete name, I don't know what Wascana specifically means, but it all refers to the old name for where the city is, which is the place where the bones are piled, pile of bones, because during buffalo hunting days, there were mountains of bones right here. So sometimes the nickname for Regina is Pile of Bones. I've had Pile of Bones Sunday around the fair, which is coming up, the exhibition. I don't know, I have to pay to get in, so I'm unlikely to go do a walk around the exhibition. I'm going to go up to the other side of these apartment buildings and then walk back to the creek, which is that way. Oh, this is Saskatchewan Express over here, hence the murals of performers. They're a performing arts troupe and school. I presume this year they have a touring company again. They didn't for a few years, obviously. You can take musical theater classes and dance classes and stuff like that there. And that old school they're in, I rehearsed in it long before they took it over for a production of The Fantastics. I remember it well, about 1990 that would have been. I've done 2 productions of The Fantastics, playing El Gallo, and I'd play him again in a minute. It's a very fun show. Most famous song is Try to Remember the Kind of September, that one. Try to remember. That's the Louvain there with the cars going by. Louvain Expressway. Oops, somebody's using one of the city, or has, and just abandoned it there. I don't know which. No riding on sidewalk. I suspect that is largely ignored by the people who use it. Not supposed to ride your bicycle on the sidewalk either, but people do all the time. Of course, if you're on a bicycle, you feel vulnerable to the traffic, so even though legally you're a vehicle and should remain on the road, you feel safer on the sidewalk. However, pedestrians don't feel safer. Like me. Once or twice I've had bicycles go past me, had no clue they were there, and had I turned at the wrong moment, would have been bad for both of us, but probably worse for the bicyclists. Okay, we're going to cross through the grass here, get back to the creek, and then walk back home along the creek. So this will be our turnaround point once we get up here. There's a smell of the prairie. I don't know what particular plant it is, but it's a smell I associate with the prairie from growing up here and playing. We lived out in the country a bit. We weren't really in the country, but our home was in the former British Commonwealth Air Training Command base in Weyburn, which is about 4 miles outside of town, which is where the school my dad taught at, Western Christian College, was located. And so I played in the prairie out in the countryside. Wasn't actually in Weyburn very much. Go in to go swimming, and that was about it as a kid. Our church building was on the edge of town, really, so we went in there for church. I remember sleeping on the floor in the auditorium one year when the blizzard blew in while we were at church, and I didn't think it was safe to try to get back out to the campus. It was only 4 miles, but if the visibility is 0, 4 miles is a long way. Baseball field here. So it was a bit of an adventure. I was not in high school yet, so it must have been about 72, somewhere along there, early 70s anyway. I turned 13 in 72. No, it wouldn't have been 72 is when I started high school. So probably about the winter or two before that. Maybe only around 1970, if you care. Okie dokie. Up here's the path. You can either get on it here or carry along this way. So I think I'll carry along this way, except you can't see the creek from here. Okay, I'll go to the path. The grass isn't very long, so no nettles, which is what you really don't want to walk through with shorts on. There's Louvain. They've been working on bits of it this summer. There's the creek. I can't really see it from here. There's the weir behind that tree. How far do I have to go to get a look at it? There it is. It's part of the level control for the river. Right now, I would say it's wide open. I don't know if they sometimes raise it to trap more water on this side, or slow the flow anyway. I don't know exactly how it works, but I know it's there. I've sometimes walked on the other side over there. I think the last time I looked at it was from the other side. This bridge up here is completely closed down, and so Pasqua Street is completely closed along here. But I think we can go under it, which is good because that's how I want to get to the other side. Why did the live streamer go under the road to get to the other side? Oof, oof, oof. Edward Street is over there, my favorite street, for obvious reasons. Don't worry, I think I'm going slow enough. I don't know exactly what they're doing to the bridge, but it's a major undertaking. They've been working on it for weeks. We'll go under it here. They've tried putting up mirrors here, but they always get vandalized, so I presume that's why they don't have them now. It's the underside of the bridge. And a view up the creek. We're going up the creek without a paddle. Something swimming up there, leaving a wake. Geese or ducks. Okay, now we're on the homeward part of the trek. I might vary this one as well and walk, not follow the path, but walk along the creek. There's a dirt path. You know, not really a path, just made by people who didn't want to follow the winding path on this side, which winds purely for aesthetic reasons. Since the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, people usually will create their own path to take advantage of that. Right here is where you can get right down close to the water, and in the winter time you can walk out on the ice here. I've done that a few times. Reflections of the trees on the other side. And there's the bridge we just walked under, artistically framed. Mowing the grass. Here comes another dog. That must be about number 10 on this walk. And a lot of them. Morning. How are you?
I'm well. How about you?
Good. Someone I know. I've sung with her, in fact, more than once, including a duet or two. Didn't recognize her till she said hello, but that's typical. People out of context, you don't immediately know who they are. And if you're focused on something else, like, walking with a camera. Okay, instead of going around the winding path, we'll take the path right along the creek, and we'll keep on doing that till we get back to Elphinstone. And then we can cross there, go down to the footbridge, and home. Stars and planets in that graffiti. More interesting than some. I don't know what this thing does. It's a pump station of some sort, but I'm not sure what it's pumping. So as you can see, this is not an official path, but it has been used so much that it's turned into one. And actually, it has vehicle tracks on it, so I'm sure the work people drive along it with their ATVs that they use to get around. Robins. Yes, you're trying to draw me away from something. I don't care if you have a nest here. I'm not going to touch it. For one year we had a successful robin nest on our front porch, nested just above our outdoor light. And then the next year one was built, but it failed. And nobody's tried it since, so I don't know if word gets around, oh, don't go there, that one didn't work out for us. Oh, maybe I won't walk. Oh, I didn't expect to run into the sprinklers going right across this part of the path. I guess I will join the, that's muddy up there, I will join the winding path here now to avoid that. I may still have to dodge sprinklers, but not mud. Kind of changes my plan though. That's okay. Ooh. It depends on if they're sprinkling on the other side of the creek as well, or the other side of the bridge as well. Now, could I go through there without being sprinkled on? Maybe. Take this shortcut. A little bit of mist, but I don't think it will swing around and get us here. Another dog. I think it's okay to do what I plan to do on the other side of the... Oh, they've repainted the turtle. I was wondering what that bright thing was. It's literally a painted turtle, which of course is an actual species we have here. But the live painted turtles aren't quite that colorful. There's a playground right there, you see. So this is like a kid-friendly turtle. I don't know why it's there. It's always been there. It's not the one I was talking about that's been refurbished. That one's over on the college building lawn. Painted turtle. I'm sure they painted it this year because I'm sure it wasn't that bright last year. Now, I think there's a path down this side of the creek as well that I almost never walk along, but I thought I would today. Or maybe not. It doesn't matter. Well, we'll take the path instead since I ended up on it. And we can look at the creek. Or is it here? You can get on it. Well, there's sort of one there. I'll do this because I haven't done it for a long time, whereas I walk down the other path all the time. See, here comes a jogger with the same idea. Another one for the bingo card. Joggers, people with dogs. People with dogs are so common. It'd be a give me. I'd probably put it in the middle as like the free one that you get no matter what. I really should look into it. I know I say that not quite every time I walk, but many times I walk. I'd offer a free book. You just have to give me the timestamp. Here comes another jogger. There's more people up there. I thought I'd run into fewer people over here, but apparently not. I suppose if you're jogging, you prefer the bounciness of the turf as opposed to the concrete. So normally I'm over there. Now I'm over here. I spare no expense keeping these things fresh and interesting. Hey, I'm almost up to 1,000 subscribers, so if you haven't subscribed, please do. At 1,000 subscribers, I can monetize, or the channel becomes monetized, and why, I might make a cup of coffee every month. You don't make much money at 1,000 subscribers, but that is where it starts. And you have to have a certain number of viewing hours. Well, I've blown past that a long time ago. Tens of thousands of viewing hours of this, which is kind of surprising to me, but I'm happy about it. People tell me they like it. I don't know if it's the videos or the soothing sound of my voice. Although I do like doing the occasional non-talk. If it rains, oh, you can get down close to the water here too. Oof, you probably fall in right here. There's a bit of a artificial ledge there. So there's the Elphinstone Street Bridge over there. Can't really look up the creek from here. Technically that's down the creek. We're walking up the creek toward the lake. Now we have to decide how to get home from here, so let me think. I could just stay on this side of the creek. Never have crossed the footbridge. Don't have to. Can walk back through the neighborhood instead. Maybe I'll do that. We come up to the Elphinstone Street Bridge, which we saw from the other side, of course. Well, I'll have to jaywalk if I want to do that again. Whereas if I cross the bridge, I can cross at the light, but this is a bit shorter, and I did drink quite a bit of coffee before I went out, so a shorter walk is beginning to sound pretty good. Yeah, you can fill in the blanks on that as to why that might be. I can do it. There's actually a crosswalk warning there, but not an actual crosswalk. I'll just tell you that there's a crosswalk coming at the end of the bridge there. Okay, now this is where we walked, but we're going to not walk along here very far in this direction. We'll go down into the park over here. I think they've turned off the sprinklers. Maybe that's what the vehicle I saw driving down there was up to. In the wintertime, without trees, you can see it there, just peeking up, the dome of the legislature. Kind of blends in with the trees, but it's there. Much more visible in the wintertime. We'll go this way. Yeah, this way. The dike, of course, is to keep flooding from happening. The creek would flood all of this if it was not diked in the winter, or in the spring, I mean, when the snow and ice melt. So I'm going to run into some sprinkling there. Okay. All right, we will dodge it through the grass here. Hear the crows? There's a dove too, I hear, or a pigeon. I kind of know the difference, but when I hear one by itself, it's hard to be sure. Oh, and there's something just went under the bushes there. It was a bird, I think. Okay, get back over here now. This is the one you have to watch out for if you're riding a bicycle along here, for sure. You wouldn't want to be coming along in the dark and not know that was there. We'll just go through the alley here, which will put us on Leopold Crescent, and then we'll follow that around. Get over to Angus Crescent at some point. And then we're practically home. I am, anyway. You may not be. If you're watching me at work, shame on you. Especially if you are like a security guard and you're supposed to be watching cameras, and instead you're watching me walk. I would not want to be responsible for a jewel heist. Or if I were responsible for a jewel heist, I'd at least like to get away with it, make a fortune, but it's not on my list of things to do. Okay, this is where Garnet Street, which I used to live on, down there, joins Leopold Crescent, which is why it curves. Also home to the purplest house in the city, or at least one of them. Sometimes you see rabbits in that park there. I don't know if there's any there right now. I'll probably take the alley over to Leopold as soon as I can here. So some nice old houses along here, and they have bigger lots, so they tend to be bigger, older houses. A lot of the lots on the Crescents are 1.5 times your typical lot. Same with ours, which is why we have quite a bit of space between houses on either side. When you're on a straight street, you'll sometimes have, less space than that even in some places. Don't see any rabbits over there. We'll take the alley up to Angus Crescent here. Didn't expect to see a car just at that moment, but that's unfortunate timing. Just letting somebody off, it looks like. Ubiquitous Carragana bushes here on the right. It's a very new garage, but I think it was built for an old house, namely that one there. Clearly the shingled part is an addition, so it's kind of a mismatch. You've got brick, you've got shingle, you've got a different shade of shingle, and then you've got an ultra-modern garage. Now we'll go to the other side because they seem to be shoveling gravel on this side for some reason. That one has a very sort of Nordic look, I guess, with the high peaked roof, which implies it's to shed snow, which I'm sure it does. But we don't really get enough snow here to require that kind of a roof. Oh yes, this house here belonged to Tommy Douglas, who was premier in the 50s of the first socialist government in North America. Ironically, and it's for sale too. What you can't see from this fairly modest exterior is that it has an indoor swimming pool, which I think he put in, which would have been quite the extravagance at the time. Doesn't seem a very socialist thing to do, but why do I know? Not being a socialist, I don't really understand how they think. There's one over here that I've been in, which is really cool. This one with the high slanted roof. Also kind of a modest front, but you can see how high it goes. It's actually very big inside and open, so that if you're on the 3rd floor up there at the top, you're looking down all the way down here and below. It was for sale at the time we saw it, and my wife was actually kind of wishing we could buy it, but we have a house. But yeah, it's an interesting, it was designed by an architect, obviously not a cookie cutter house of any sort. Very interesting house. I've been in the Tommy Douglas house too. There's another nice, I like the half timbered look, that kind of faux Elizabethan thing. And we're practically to our corner where I will stop this, so. I said, a little chilly when I came out, not feeling chilly now, having walked fairly briskly for 45 minutes. I think that's about what this is. It's a nice house here too, and they have this little screened in gazebo for sitting in and enjoying the evening. Nice yard, that one. Alrighty, so I will stop here. Thanks for walking with me, and yeah, if you haven't, please subscribe. If I can get to 1,000, I might make a little money, which would be nice. Don't know if I'll be back tomorrow or not. Hope I will. In any event, bye for now.